Hello, friends. This is the Dreamers Live podcast. We're so thrilled you're back with us. Today's conversation is entitled, It's Not That Bad. And hopefully after you listen to it, we'll all have a little bit more encouragement and hope and grace to move through the day. So let's get started.
This podcast is a presentation of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of moving stories for our corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners.
Well, hello, dreamers, and welcome back to the Dreamers Live podcast. As always, we are so thrilled that you're here. We are coming to you live from the Pioneer Dream lair in the center of the known universe, Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and I am joined, as always, by my co-conspirator, Anjanette. Hi, Anjanette.
Hello. What's happening?
So many things. In fact, you may have noticed, if you are a regular listener of this podcast, that it feels like it's been a minute between our last episode and this episode.
It has been a minute, hasn't it?
And the reason why it's been a minute is because this is graduation season. And it doesn't matter that you're not a high school senior or a college graduate. If you are leaving one grade and going to the next grade, that is apparently now a graduation.
It is a big deal. It is the, my dad calls it the merry month of May.
Yes.
Because there's everything wedged into one, but I call it the maddening month of May. Then that'll give you a crazy eye fast. So many things that you have to do.
As we say, May is the new December. Mm-hmm. It's just that busy. And so
without the carols.
Yeah. And so we had to take a week off to do some of those things, and we were chaperoning like it was our job and doing all kinds of stuff.
By the way, what amusement park are you taking me to this weekend?
Oh my gosh. So we did back-to-back Frontier City, which is in Oklahoma City if you're not from the area. And that is part of the Six Flags family. And that was an all-day affair. In fact, we left early.
Yeah.
The kids all did a band orchestra. No, it was an orchestra.
This was orchestra, though, into Frontier City, yes.
Did an orchestra concert competition thing.
That morning, the Heartland Music Festival.
Then they all jumped back in the bus, and they headed on to Oklahoma City, where they found Frontier City, and we were chaperones.
We were. And when you're like, I'm sorry, you're probably going to say the same thing. When you're chaperoning seventh graders, how does it go?
You are superfluous. You are not necessary in any way, shape, or form.
The teachers feel like you're necessary. The kids do not.
It's a very secure park, and
kind of smallish.
And the kids don't want you there.
No, they don't. It's kind of like, this is your chaperone. These are your chaperones for your group. And they're like, okay, see ya.
Yeah. And so the way they handle the chaperoning is they give you every kid's phone number.
Yeah.
And then you start a text group with those
your group.
12 kids.
Yeah.
And then every 30 minutes or so, you say, hey, everybody's still alive, everybody good. And then you wait for them to text you back.
Yeah.
And then
that's pretty much it. And I can't remember because we've had so many of these. I got the group with our daughter in it, but you got some random guys?
I got a bunch of boys.
Okay.
And they were cool. And but what's funny is, so at the end of the event, they're supposed to show up to this one area in the park that has a big stage, and that's where they were going to award.
That's where they did the awards for the music festival earlier in the morning.
That they had competed in earlier in the day.
So like hundreds and hundreds of kids.
So I know that, we have multiple middle schools here in the Ville. And so it's a combination of kids that go to our daughter's school, which is Central Middle School, and the other middle school, which is Madison Middle School. So the ones that go to
Green Hornets.
They're Green Mustangs.
Oh,
and it's not that anymore. Everyone's a Bruin now.
Okay, well that's
good. So anyway, the kids from Central are relatively aware of us and familiar with us. The kids from Madison don't know us from Adam.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I stood in this one spot to help direct kids because it wasn't really fully apparent where the stage was.
Okay, yeah.
And as the kids came by, I was like, okay, well, you guys need to go down this way. Here's the stage area. And if they were from Madison, they just looked at me like, why is this strange man telling me where to go and barking orders at me? And please leave me and stranger danger.
That's too
So
funny.
we did all that one weekend, and then just 7 days later,
but in between the 7 days, we had a band concert, an orchestra concert, an
award
ceremony,
concert.
and about 17 other things. It was a good time.
Yeah, and then on Saturday morning, I dropped Evangeline off at the school at dark 30.
Yes,
And
5:30.
they ate donuts and got instructions and all wore the same band T-shirts
Yep, and
and
this is for
divided up
band.
bus assignments and decided who they were going to be with for the entire day and all that kind of stuff. And then you and I got in our car because we're not bus riders,
Not so much.
and we followed them in our car and on a 3.5-hour drive because that's how slow buses go.
Yes, to your favorite city, Branson, Missouri.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the bald knobbers are going to
Yes,
get
if
you.
you've listened to the podcast at all for any length of time, you know that the Silver Dollar City just is not
it just
my
weirds
thing.
you out. Something about Dollywood and the whole
I
vibe.
feel like it's like what an amusement park would be like if a Walmart was an amusement park.
Well, they're it's very close to Rogers,
Yes.
Arkansas,
Well,
home
there you
of. Yeah, it makes sense.
So we did that. It is beautiful country. It's a wonderful drive. It's a gorgeous
We had
space.
a good time. We made the best of it.
Yeah, but we did. And so that was, even for Evangeline, that was long. So she said, what time are we supposed to get there? I said, well, I think you get there to the park, you get there between 10:30 and 11. And then she said, well, how long do we stay? And I said, and then you leave sometime between 5:30 and 6. And she goes, oh, it's just so long.
But of course, when it was time to go,
Oh
man,
my
we
gosh.
could go.
Well, and then the way theme parks are now, unless you have the fast pass, you know,
Yeah.
it's nothing to wait an hour and a half, 2 hours for a ride.
It's really uncool.
They were there for 6+ hours. They rode 4
Four
rides.
things. Yeah. That's right. And we had a chance to eat. I mean, the thing I like about Silver Dollar City that's kind of fun, which I know you don't love, but there's like shops and other things to do other than the rides. So while you're waiting, or the kids are in line, you can
So
go country shopping. And
so
know
what
you
you're
love
saying is, what you're saying is the highlight is if you can't ride a ride, at least you can shop.
You can give them more of your
my
money.
Gosh.
I know. It's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And there's a monopoly on the food, so all the food is, incredibly expensive and all that kind of stuff. And you have to wait in line for that too.
On the upside, we had a fun time.
On
And
the
it
upside,
was
the
like
kids still want us there, so
They
that's
did.
the upside.
That's right. The band kids, we had a good time. We told them we were going to stay with them and that we would stay 100 feet back.
And we
So
did
it was good.
we had great weather. It wasn't too hot. and
Yeah,
it was all
it was
good.
really
so,
nice,
So
but I
anyway,
think we're
that's why we didn't do a podcast. And so-
That was a long story. And finally, 7th grade is done. Woo! Finished
yeah.
yesterday, and I think we're through. We've got one more teacher luncheon we're going to help throw
Yes.
on the last day for teachers this Friday, and then it really will be summer. And that's when we get into musical theater season.
Yes,
That's a whole other deal.
It's a whole other thing. But speaking of which, we're approaching holiday season 2. We've got Memorial Day coming up this weekend, depending on when you're listening to this and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
This would be an excellent time to take us with you
On your trip.
on your trip. Listen to the
Yes.
podcast. There's probably a couple of these you have not caught up on. We'd love to stay with you on that.
That means we need to be lively enough to help keep someone awake
Yes.
in the car.
Well, and I tell you what, not just this podcast, but we have a mini podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Got a Minute mini podcast, which is really funny and entertaining, and it combines a funny story with one of your original songs. We even have talked you into being on the podcast and giving us like a behind the scenes moment,
Yeah.
behind the music, like VH1.
It's pretty fun. I like the songs that you pair with your stories.
Yeah.
They're pretty. It's a good combo the way you put them together.
So
and the whole
there's-
thing is how long? Like 15-ish
Yeah, it's like 15
minutes?
minutes, and there's like the first 4 episodes are up, and it really is entertaining. And a lot of you are listening to those, but it's great if you just need a little thing while you're running errands or on a lunch break or a smoke break or whatever. Whatever
Well,
you're
and
doing.
unlike the conversations we have, which are always enlightening and entertaining,
Yes.
these are just stories and songs. And so it is like a little 15-minute entertainment piece.
Right. So it's a great listen if you get a chance. And we do have another Dreamers Live event coming up. We've kind of
Yes.
we're in a bit of a stretch. We know how busy May is, and so we don't really want to complicate people's lives by adding to more of that. It's like
Right.
December. So we decided to not do an actual event, live event during May,
We
but
did
we
one
are
May
doing
2nd and then
yeah. So we're doing one on, I want to say it's June 27th.
Yeah, I feel like that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that will be back here in the Ville. So mark your calendars for that. And as always, if you'd like us to come and do a Dreamers Live event with your group, we'd love to do that, even if it's an away game. And if you can get, 15-ish, 20-ish people together, that's a great size to do something. And we can come to your thing and do all that stuff.
Yeah, we'd love to do it.
Yeah. And finally, we
That's
love
what you think.
we love hearing from you guys, and we get a lot of feedback from you, especially when we see you guys live and in person. But maybe there's something you wish we would talk about. So maybe you've made an observation or there's a question you have or something like that. So you can always message us. You can send us a text message on the podcast itself. There's a little thing there. It should say to text us or whatever. And so just send us a message and let us know if there's something you want to talk about. And we're never at a loss for things to say, but
we would love your input.
yeah.
That's cool.
I was thinking this morning, because it was beautiful enough to be outside
It is
for
so
coffee.
pretty right
Yeah,
now,
so even
yeah.
though I
Nice and cool.
generally get up quite early, it was still really pleasant. So I got outside, and there was something about just the whole thing about being outside in that moment that, I don't know, it felt hopeful. It felt,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it was engaging. And it was like, I think it's the sun coming up, and and so you feel that on your skin, and you know that that's life giving into itself.
Sure.
And I was just thinking in so many ways that, this is obviously it's a challenging moment in history. We're all aware of that. If you've listened to the last couple of episodes of the podcast, you know it's been challenging on a lot of different levels.
Yeah.
And those are all really, really important conversations. And I hope that even though they're difficult and challenging, that we've handled them in a way that is kind of hopeful, and you end up leaving the podcast feeling better than you got there.
Yeah. I feel like that's always our goal, even if we're being like very honest about
Yes,
something,
right.
that we're only sharing those things once we feel like we're on to some things that can help. So
But today I was just thinking, as much as we have this influx of challenging news and all that kind of stuff,
yeah.
and it is a difficult time, but in so many ways, for so many of us, it's really not as bad as it seems. It's really not as difficult as it seems. And sometimes taking a step back and looking at things, even the mere fact that seasons change.
Yes.
And that happens for us in a physical sense with our seasons, but also in our lives. There's a spiritual sense. And so sometimes you go through difficult things because that's a moment of change for you. And we're aware of it or we're not aware of it. But there are things that what we used to call, seasons of change, or birthing things, or coming up to new ideas, or whatever. So,
Or like times of rest.
yeah, so that's, one season might feel tumultuous, but that's because things are changing, and a lot of times those changes ends up being a good thing. But
Yeah.
but I was just thinking today that there are still so many signs of life, so many signs of hope. Think about as spring comes on and you start to see those first few buds pop from a tree, or you see things kind of break back through the earth, back through the ground, and you start to see, oh, there's growth, there's good stuff happening. And I've been struck by that today, that
Cool.
things are not as bad as they seem. There's a lot of good that is happening. Some of these difficult things are necessary for us to go through in order to move forward, in order to progress.
Just like winter.
Yeah. So to progress as individuals, as maybe for your family, but also for a nation and also for the world. So I don't know that just because we're going through difficult times, we're kind of tempted sometimes to think wherever we are in a moment, whether personally or historically, that's the way the rest of things are going to go.
Yeah, it's always going to be like this.
So if you're in a difficult place, you're like, oh man,
It's just how it is now.
yeah, I guess I'm just older now. I guess this just sucks. Or
Yeah.
I guess the world's just falling apart. But the more I am with people and I talk to them and hang out, the more it feels like good things are happening,
Yeah, that's
inspired
cool.
things are happening, hopeful things are happening.
Yeah.
And so even today I woke up and, we live in a very physical planet and we have these physical bodies, and most of us would probably be in some place where we would say, I wish this thing was working better than it was. Or, I wish this didn't hurt as bad as it does.
Right.
I wish I looked different. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
I wish my skirts from last summer fit me. Yes.
Yeah, so there's all that kind of stuff. And then I thought today, okay, well,
well,
this is the body I have today.
Yeah.
Yes, I wish certain things looked different than they do. I wish
Come on, you look amazing.
I wish certain. Thank you. It's just a ploy for a compliment.
I knew it.
No, I wish there were certain, pain things that were resolved or physical things that were resolved. But today, this is the body I have.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the most of this body. I'm going to be grateful for the things
Is that why you're wearing a half top?
That's it. The crop top never goes out of style.
You guys should see it.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
It's really the belly hair that I think makes the whole thing, work the best. But
Yes, I do like the belly hair.
yeah, but there's something about that saying, okay, this
Yeah.
is what I have today. This is what I want to work with today. I want to make the most of this whole experience and this process,
Yeah.
and be thankful and grateful and hopeful in that whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's good. It's such a good reminder because we talk about perspective. It's
Yes.
all perspective, but that's true.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, well, there are some people who didn't make it to today.
Yes.
And so what are the good things that I have in this day?
Yeah.
And if you can try and have the grace enough to reframe it, it can definitely change your outlook for sure. So
Well, and we've talked about this concept of gratitude, or oh God, I'll say it again, even though I
What?
don't want to say it. I
why
hate
don't you
this
want
word,
to say it?
journaling.
Oh, dude,
Yeah, I know.
yes.
But the whole
I'm a
I don't
bad
like,
journaler.
some of you guys are so good, and you're so much better human, so much better at being human than I am.
are, yeah.
And you journal things, and you do all that kind of stuff, and maybe even go back and look at it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there is
Are you supposed
something.
to go back and look at it?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
Maybe
'cause-
that's the freedom, is thinking no one's ever going to see this. But that's probably what Jane Austen thought, and then she died, and everyone went through her stuff and found all these amazing
that's
things.
so true. Same with Emily Dickinson. Wow, she can write.
Wow, what's this all about?
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Brad, look at this drawer. It's got all these writings in it.
The other day, I have a little notebook on it that I got at Dollar Tree. You know how I love the D tree.
You do.
Oh my
you
gosh.
and our daughter.
What would we do without
if
the
we
D
inherited
tree?
$1 million tomorrow, I'm
Yeah.
still pretty sure.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with wealth.
You ran
We
into
just
something like
love
that. You were telling me the other day that you went to the Dollar General, to the
Yeah.
DG.
No, I don't go to the DG. It's Dollar Tree.
Oh,
Come
I'm sorry.
on, dude.
Oh, please. I
Okay,
didn't know you were slumming it.
For those,
Yeah.
well, it's not that Dollar General's slumming it, but
It has a
it's-
smell, though. It does have. It's like somehow it has this industrial cleaner smell that
It
that is
does.
the same if you went to one in California or New York or Bartlesville.
They're a little bit dank. The lighting's not right.
The lighting's
Something
always
is-
not working. Like
Do you
there's
wanna
whole
know-
sections of light,
I
no matter where you go, they're just out for
and
some
in
reason.
terms of like merchandising and the way the shelves are set up, it's sort of like they'll be like cleaner next to the food. I mean, it's just there's
And
something about the
always
way it's
too much product for the shelf space.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then like the mops will be next to the baby
Like, are
clothes.
they getting a run on the store every day for socks that they gotta put every pair of socks they have out there?
Yes,
You know?
they do. And it's going to be by the Gatorade, which doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like, I don't know why it bothers
Yeah.
me, but aesthetically, it could not be less pleasing.
Yes.
But do you want to know something funny? Okay, you know how Dollar General, their business model apparently works for everyone else because they're everywhere. Of course, we live in, Oklahoma, for those of our listeners outside the state, there definitely are plenty of cities in Oklahoma and urban
Yes.
areas, but a lot of times there's quite a bit of space in between them. For instance, we live in Bartlesville, so we're about 50 miles from the next bigger city, which is quite large, which is Tulsa.
Right.
But there are beautiful like prairies and landscapes
Yes.
in between, but there's always a Dollar General, one or two. Like it doesn't matter.
Well, and
you could literally be anywhere and be like, "Oh my God, we're not going to make it." Wait, there's a Dollar General.
there was some city that we had to go through
Yes.
the other day that it was
this is
just
what I'm
a
trying to
nothing store,
It
nothing
was
city.
nothing, but there's a Dollar General. There'll be like 2 cows in a Dollar
Yeah,
General.
2 mules and a cow,
It's
and there's a Dollar
impressive.
General.
But somewhere, I think it was on the way to Branson to Silver
Yeah,
Dollar City.
makes sense.
I saw something, and guess what it said? It was a nicer looking store, but I noticed because we're, font people, we
Mm-hmm.
notice. It said DG Market
Yeah, oh,
in
yeah.
a fancy font, and someone is onto this
Right.
in the Dollar General brand, so they're upscaling.
Yeah.
They're making it a DG
So
Market.
you can buy more than just Cheetos there. You can buy.
And perhaps maybe the merchandising is not, the socks next to the food. Like I feel like they're onto it. But anyway,
How did we even get to this
I don't
place?
even know.
Okay.
But this is one of the things that makes me happy is Dollar Tree. So this is good. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So I bought a little notebook at the Dollar Tree. And so for those of you who are listening who know the Dollar Tree, it's very different. It's more
Yes.
crafty. It's smaller. It's cute. They always have
Whatever you want to tell yourself.
Okay, seriously. They always have a festive, very festive holiday section for any, like they even had Cinco de Mayo. We were like, doot, doot, doot. Very fun. So there's a little notebook that I actually bought for someone else. Do you ever buy something for someone else and then you decide to keep it?
Like a car?
No.
No, I guess not.
Like a small thing. It was I have for those of you who know me, I kind of keep some things on hand because our life is really busy and full of people. And that way I'd be like, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday.
You can always respond with a gift.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
always
Yeah,
present.
and I like doing that. But anyway, there was a really cute notebook and it said Dreamer on it.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm going to find the right person to give that to, and that's going to be really cool. And then I was feeling down, and I was like,
Thanks for not giving that to me, by the way.
You're welcome. And then I was like, I want to keep that notebook because I'm a dreamer. It made me feel better.
Yeah.
But I decided
It's a daily affirmation for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think roundabout we did some podcasts about tough times a few weeks ago. I was feeling pretty rough. And so I was like, I'm doing it. I'm going to start a gratitude journal. And I did.
Yeah.
And so I try to write down 5 things in a day that I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back over it though. But anyway, what was so funny was Evangeline, our daughter, 13-year-old, when your daughter's 13, there's not a lot that you can do that's cool. But she walked by, she's like, what's that dreamer book? I was like, oh, that's my gratitude journal. She goes, wow, Mom, you're so progressive. That's so cool. And I was like, well, you know me, just journaling over here.
Progressive or old. I don't know. What
But
happens,
anyway, she somehow was impressed that I was journaling.
Well, I think it's so important because there is something about the physicality of writing something down, even
good.
against typing something.
Or saying it. Well, I like saying things is good, but there's something
saying
about
things
it.
is obviously very important. We've talked about that whole principle, and you guys know that See It and Say It's a hallmark conversation for us. But when it comes to putting something in your consciousness, there's something about the physicality of writing it down versus even typing it versus even saying it. That's a whole different thing.
They say there's a connection in your brain between your thoughts and the physicality of writing it down versus typing. There's something to that. So I got to tell you a quick side story. Hey, if this is all just about funny side stories today, it'll make people feel better while they're driving.
It's entertaining nevertheless.
My sister is a middle school teacher and she's awesome. Yeah. And so she teaches broadcasting and creative studies and yearbook and design and all of that. But she got handed a couple of general life skills classes, which they were like, she goes, what do you want to teach? They're like, whatever you want. So she was like, really? But she's really turned it
Here's
into...
how to get over the man on Netflix. Share your password. Life skills number 1.
But she's really turned it into some really good stuff. But one of the things she has the kids do every day is like a journal right at the beginning. Yes. And they had to, this was at least last semester, she may have developed it further, but they had to write down, and I sub for her some when she's gone for trainings and stuff. So they have to write down 3 things that they're thankful for. Like one is something I'm thankful for today, something I'd like to do better, whatever. Yeah. But there's this one kid and he's a sweet kid, but was just trouble. I mean, like never had his Chromebook, his computer, just was like slouch around, being 10 minutes late and just have a bad attitude the whole time. And so I would read his journal when I would sub and it would always say the same thing, which is so funny. It would be like, say something you're thankful for. And it would say, he'd say, my Jesus, he loved me. And I think it was just because, I mean, it's sweet. Like someone has told him that. And I was like, you're right. And that's great. But and he would just like leave off the S and stuff just because it was so much work to add the S. But it would say, so next time I'd sub, I read it, I'd be like, my Jesus, he loved me. So if you're having trouble,
words to remember. If
you're having trouble in a day and your gratitude journal is empty, you could be like, my Jesus, he loved me.
That's also how you know you're in Oklahoma.
That's so true. Anywho.
Well, there was a thing that we did, and I think we've talked about this a little bit, but there was this thing that we did maybe even 10 plus years ago where we did a book club event, and there were probably only about 8 of us involved. And it was for this thing called Storyline, I think was called Storyline.
Yeah.
Don
Miller, guy who wrote Blue Like Jazz. Yeah. That's kind of how he got into
So this is a really interesting thing. And, you know, I always think that if you read a book that kind of has like it's a help book of some sort, like how to reorient your thinking about X, Y, or Z, like we've read a number of those. If you take away,
kidding? I've always got 6 going.
Oh gosh,
Lord help me.
If you take Jesus, he loved me.
My Jesus, he loves me, and then he sets the trash can on fire. You're like, dude,
hey,
would you take some of this into your behavior?
Ask Jesus to help you put that fire out.
Stop smoking in here.
So. He's done a lot of stuff, but I think if you read a book that kind of is like a help book or a self-help book and you get 10% of that book.
Right.
There's
Just a
10% of that
nugget.
that can help you. To me, that's a great ratio. You're not going to get all 10 steps.
Yeah.
I know that it says 10 things to do to save your life and make you a better person. And all
Yeah.
that.
But if you get the nugget.
But if you get one
Yeah.
thing out of it, you can
Don't
take
you
away.
think most self-help books, when you read them, and actually I'm a fan, like anything that'll help, but I'm looking at those nuggets you hold on to.
yeah.
But to me, I feel like basically someone had a good idea. They get some revelatory thought and they're like, oh my gosh, this could really help people. This helped me. And then it's like a thesis and an essay. Like you get the thesis. Was the thesis supposed to be like, the thesis statement was like the fifth sentence in the first paragraph, if I remember right.
Okay.
And then you don't remember this kind of stuff.
I never wrote one. No.
Well, I was good at essays. Essays, as Evangeline calls them. Anyway, and then there's all these other paragraphs, sort of, examples of what's going on. So to me, the self-help book is sort of like, once you get the thesis, you're like, we're good here. And then there's the rest
Then
of
they've
the
got to
book.
spend the next 200 pages telling you why
In
that makes
fact,
sense.
I have read many self-help books that I get the thesis of it in the first three, and my brother does this too. We joked about it. You read like the first three chapters, you're like, good.
Got it.
Good.
Moving on.
I don't need the rest of your book.
Yeah, here's my other self-help. Stop after the third chapter.
But it's hard to sell the book when
Right.
it's sort of like, it's only 3 chapters.
Yeah,
so
it's
they just keep
it's
going.
a pamphlet instead of a book.
Yes.
Can't
But
you-
anyway, in storyline, the
Well,
nugget that you're.
So there are
back
two
to you.
things that really that I think we both kind of took away from that
Mm-hmm.
book, and there are plenty of great things. There are 3 things actually.
Well,
that,
are you going to tell people kind of the gist of the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the premise
Oh,
of the
that's
book.
what you're getting ready to do.
No, go ahead. Jump ahead.
Okay.
No, I think the premise of the book was kind of reorienting how you look at your life and how you make plans for success in the future.
So
and all
looking
that
at
kind of
your the past of your story and sort of charting
So
out.
there were kind of 3 things that, and it was kind of laid out like a workbook, which was really pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And so there were 3 things that really stood out and I took away from that book. One was a conversation he was having with a younger person who was getting ready to go away on a trip for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to be traveling with someone. There was the risk that it might. She said it wasn't romantical. He thought it might, as Evangeline would say.
romantical.
So he said, what is it you really want to do with your life? And she laid out this plan, this master thing. I really want to, whatever it was, I think being a doctor in a specific place in a specific thing. And she was really passionate about it. He said, this summer, when you're on this trip to the Incas or whatever,
Yeah.
don't do anything that would interrupt that plan for your life.
Oh, that's
So in other
cool.
words,
Yeah.
there's a good chance you could go into this romance thing with this guy and all this kind of stuff. And if you weren't careful and you weren't paying attention, you could make some decisions that would actually get in the way of
what
your
you really
longer
wanna
plan.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good advice.
don't do anything today that's
Yeah.
going to stop you from doing this plan. And I
Yeah.
thought that's pretty good.
That's good. Like if you want to be an Olympic gymnast and you've got some tryouts coming up in the fall, don't go somewhere where you're going to break your leg.
Exactly right. Yeah. Keep that stuff
On your
present
trip.
in your mind
Yeah, and be careful
live
because-
accordingly.
yeah, okay,
right.
that's good.
And then I think one of the other things I thought was really critical for us, and we've kind of lived our lives this way, is
Mm-hmm.
if you have an idea that really means something to you and you get mojo on it and
Yeah.
beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is something I'm supposed to do. This is a place I'm supposed to go. This is someone I'm supposed to call. This is a thing I'm supposed to take care of or whatever. Then if you feel that way, then do some kind of instigating
Yeah.
moment.
He called it an inciting
an inciting-
incident.
yes, exactly right.
Because we use this a lot.
Because you'll get tired later on, and you'll talk yourself out of it
Yes.
later on. It'll be more difficult later on, and all that kind of stuff. But do something that will hold you to this decision you've made. So
Yeah.
tell somebody about it. Write the check, book the.
So an example of that from one of our former lives, I feel like we've lived to many, would be back when newspapers were a thing.
Yeah.
If we were going to create a film or we were going to start an event in our city, oftentimes, and this is for real, we would write a press release about it and then we would submit it to our newspaper and it
Yes.
would run and then you can't get out of it.
Yeah, because now everyone in your city knows
Gonna
that you're
start a
planning to do.
festival.
Yeah, they're
and
going
you
to
go,
ask.
oh, okay, we'll have to do it. That's a big example.
Yeah.
It can be as small as
Telling someone.
I did it last week. I needed to get back into the studio for recording, which we're going to do later today, but there's just lots of reasons always not to do it because there's a
Right.
lot of work and it's good and there's emotional and creative challenges. But I told a friend of mine, hey, that I was encouraging to do something via text. I said, hey, check back with me in a week
Yes.
and ask how it's going
Right.
on me recording.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay.
It might be
Then you get
opening.
that
Yeah,
text
you
and you
might
have to-
open you might open a checking account specifically because you're going to start saving money for that car, or you're going to save
Exactly.
money for that trip,
An
or
inciting
yeah,
incident.
or you will just go ahead and book airfare to the place that you are trying to get to.
Yes.
You may not have all your funds together yet. You may not have everything done yet, but
Yeah.
an inciting incident would be to pre-buy something.
Yes.
Do
Which,
something.
Speaking of, later today, yes, we have something coming up that we need to do.
So
let's do
the third thing that, and what kind of relates to this conversation, that was really, really interesting is the book kind of opens with this exercise. And in this exercise, you kind of draw a timeline of your life.
Okay.
So, you and I are roughly 30. So what you do is you take this timeline and then you divide it by decades, and then you lay the whole thing out and from the moment you're born to today.
Okay.
And you say, you go back to the first decade of your life, the first years of your life, and you write down every monumental moment that happened in that year and that decade. So the day that you accidentally peed yourself when you were in kindergarten.
Oh my gosh, it didn't go back that far.
No, I mean all those things.
But
Yeah,
it was like
it did.
graduated from high school.
Yeah, or embarrassing things, good things, bad things,
my
all those
grandmother
things.
died,
Yeah,
or-
and then when you put on the timeline, if it was a thing that was quote positive, you put it on. You would draw your line going up from the timeline, and you would list that thing, and you would draw that line at a length of kind of 1 through 10. So if it was extremely positive, it was a 10.
Okay.
If it was pretty positive, it was a 5. If it was a negative thing, same thing. You would put the line underneath the timeline straight down, and on and on. And so you go through your entire life. This is the day I got married, obviously a 10.
I mean,
this is the day that I lost my job. That's a -5.
Yeah.
This is a positive 6. And everything so if you go through all your life, from childhood through high school, through college, through, all the way up till today, and you map that whole thing out. And I remember going through that experience and thinking in that moment that the last several years had really been challenging and very, very difficult. And if I had to shade it, I would have shaded it more on the negative than the positive.
Okay.
And then when the exercise was done, I looked at the timeline and maybe a full 60% of the things that I had registered without trying to think about it too difficult, without trying to scrutinize it, were positives.
Interesting.
So even though I shaded that in my mind as a difficult season, a negative
time.
season, a hard time, the evidence of it was actually on the balance, it was a lot more positive and a lot more hopeful and a lot more good versus bad in that entire thing.
Yeah.
And so scientifically, we know that the negatives register at a deeper level than most positives. And
it's
part of that is a protection scheme. So we register negative things in order to learn from them, to protect ourselves from repeating those negative things later on. I burned my hand on the pot on the stove. I register that now. Yeah. So if you go back to your childhood, there's some really great sweet memories, but a lot of the things that are stark to us are the painful things.
Yeah.
I got stung by the bee. I got sunburned that trip.
Broke my arm.
I broke my arm. I do all those things, and those really, and that's intended at some level, they suspect,
To protect
to be
you
a
for the next
protection
time.
mechanism.
So that requires, because the negative is so much more readily available, that
Right.
requires us to make a physical effort or an intentional effort
Yes.
to go back and recall the positive.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
when you are writing down daily, as you are, 5 things that you're
My Jesus,
grateful
he
for.
loved me.
My Jesus, he loved me. And and that I'm not teaching middle school today.
Not everyone can write that down. Some people are teaching middle school. God bless them.
But there's something about that
Yeah.
is reorienting your mind.
Like the neural pathways, everyone talks about that.
or taking the positives and lifting them up into a conscious level
Yeah.
that is really, really helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that's critical.
Yeah.
In that
I had
process.
yes, I think you're right. And that actually brings even more meaning to my very, very woke gratitude journal.
Dreamer, you're such a little dreamer.
I had an experience yesterday, which was interesting, where I sort of like tried to reframe something in advance. Can you reframe something in advance?
Sure
I
you
framed
can.
it in advance.
Yeah.
But yesterday was the last day of 7th grade for
Yes.
our daughter.
Yes.
And because we're very involved in the schools with Dreamers Club and our Dream On Future Planning series where we bring in professionals, and then we're there all the time, a
Yes.
couple times a week at least. We know all the kids. And then I do some substitute teaching as well. So I know the teachers. And I get very sentimental because every year has different teachers and it's kind of this whole thing. So yesterday was graduation or promotion for the
Right.
8th graders. I was going to be helping with some things at the school.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, I woke up and I was like, ugh. I get like this. like
You
Snoopy.
were bracing for the
I
emotions
was
of
bracing
the day.
bracing for the emotions of the day. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the last day of 7th grade. Like I've always thought that way.
Let me get my Kleenex.
I know it's like, oh, it's the last day. I'm going to miss everybody. And the truth is like, we're all tired and are ready for a break too.
Yeah.
And then I knew it was 8th grade graduation. And then it just occurred to me, I was like sort of getting ready for the day
Yes.
and prayerfully. And I thought, this is not our daughter's 8th grade graduation
Right.
day. And we are not saying goodbye because I can kind of take that on for
Yes.
everyone and understand how they feel because I'm empathetic. And I was like, today is a great day. We still have one awesome year left at this school.
Yeah.
We're going to celebrate. I'm talking to myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're going to celebrate and have a good time. And then I went in there and I was around all the emotion and everything. And I was like, this is
not
great.
mine.
This is not mine.
Well, this is not mine. I don't have to carry it.
I don't have to carry it. I can be around for the people that are experiencing that.
Yeah.
And then it was really quite joyful. I cleaned out the parent support group closet, got it all ready for the next
But
year,
isn't
saw
that
some
a-
people. It was good.
isn't
though.
that a healthy
It was
thing
like,
when you
today's
can-
not my day. I don't have to experience
Right.
that in advance.
Isn't that a healthy thing when you can say that?
Yeah.
You know, there's something about being empathetic, which is really, really important, and we can help carry those things for people, and
Sure.
and it puts us in their place, which is really amazing. But there's also something to acknowledging that
Yes.
there's more than enough challenge,
Yeah.
more than enough pain to go around.
Yeah. More
That
than
there'll
enough
be another
grief.
day where I have to
Yeah.
carry something. But today is not that day.
Yeah,
And so
exactly. Today is not my day
this is
for
not
that.
my pain. I
Yeah.
don't have to carry this today. This is not my nervousness. I don't have to take this on today.
Yeah,
This is not my
interesting.
anxiety. I don't have to carry that today.
That was one of the things for me that was that is most difficult about social media.
Yes.
And why I really,
exactly
I really
right.
have to guard myself. So for me, I don't, the way that my feed is kind of structured, I don't have a lot of political stuff on it.
Right.
It's a lot of parents sharing pictures of their kids and
Right.
different stuff and that kind of deal. And there's plenty of the other, but for me, when you have, because we know so many people, we're so popular.
Well,
I'm just kidding. But I probably do have, I don't know, 2,500 Facebook friends and from all over, just, something like that.
I stopped counting at 6,000. So I don't know what you have, but that's fine. Whatever you want to do.
But I guess what I'm saying is every day someone is dying.
Yes.
And every day someone is diagnosed with cancer. And so for me, because I struggle with this,
Right.
I would be, scrolling around or whatever and looking at the happy things. And then it was like, oh my gosh, someone lost their child or someone. And that is going to happen. And that is terribly sad. But I couldn't process taking on their grief and taking on their emotion. And so one of the ways I have to guard my heart, it's why I'm not on there much, except for when we're working and I do some checking in, is to not take that on, that I
Yes.
can be empathetic and share in someone's grief without it becoming mine. And I have to separate that. So
I'm not sure what the science is behind
Mm-hmm.
this, though I suspect it's because it's coming from people we know. But
yeah.
there's one thing to watch, listen, or read the news,
Yes.
which has its own challenges,
Yeah.
especially in a 24-hour news cycle.
When you think,
It's the
oh,
whole
that's
thing.
terrible. That
Yeah.
happened in Alabama
Or even, locally or whatever.
Locally.
But there's something else about it when it's presented on social media. I think
so personal.
it's because people we know are presenting
Yeah.
things. So there are at any given time
Yes.
1,000 fires happening in the world.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 fires happening in America right now. By fires, I mean
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
crises.
Crises. Yeah.
And there's something about the way it's presented on social media that is also demanding that you take up that cause. You
Yes.
take up that need. You take up that responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not enough just to know this is what's happening
Yeah.
in the way that news information is presented. There's a requirement or an unspoken insinuation that you should now care about this and do something. And I'm putting this on here because I want you to do something.
Yeah.
And the reality
not
is
everything can be fixed.
We can't.
Yeah.
We cannot do
and
those things.
There's always been that many. I mean, if we knew 2,000 people back before, say, social media, there's always been the same percentage of people being diagnosed with cancer, people dying, and tragic things
Getting
happening.
divorced, having tragedies.
All of that has always happened. Those percentages have been the same. But we didn't know about all of them.
Right.
And so that's it. And then also the very personal accounts, for instance, if something tragic happens to someone and you hear it as a story, news story, that's awful. And I'm bothered by that, which is why I don't watch very much news. And you tell me if I need to get in the bunker. But but then when it's a personal account of someone, I lost my father today and here's what happened. Right. Oh, dude, I can't handle it. Because today's not that day for me.
Right.
And I can show compassion.
Yes.
And I'm thankful for that. But I can't take it on, you know? And so
I don't have to carry. That's not mine to carry today.
it's not mine to carry today. And so I almost have to like take it off, like taking off a jacket. Yeah. Like, okay, you know.
Well, and
I'm not sure how we got to this, but it's good.
Well, I'm glad you did because this was actually a place I wanted to get to today.
Really?
And we don't do a lot of challenges, obviously, but this has been really important for us. Mm-hmm. And you and I have talked about this a lot, you know, in terms of, how much time we're not spending on social media now, and the fact that we've taken the apps off our phones, and the fact that we're not doing that at the rate we were, you know, before, and how helpful that has legitimately been. So, I wanted to challenge people who are listening. We're doing a thing now, and we've kind of it's because of the school stuff and because of our daughter and a couple other things, it's been easy to lose track of this. But for 5 days, I would like to challenge you that when you get home, that you just set your phone aside. Okay. Set it on the table.
Yeah. We have a little table.
A little table right by our front door.
Yeah.
Where you put your keys in your wallet.
That's
and all
away
stuff.
from where we hang out.
Yeah. Put your phone face down on that table. And for 5 days, take an intentional break from social media. It's graduation season. I know you got to get through this weekend and post all your kids graduating and all that kind of stuff. That's great. But the notifications will still be there if someone's trying to reach you or whatever and all that. And I know that a lot of you do affirmations and all that kind of stuff for other people and all that stuff. But for 5 days, try and stay off all social media. And for 5 days, try when you get home to simply put your phone on the table. Yeah. If you need to check it at some point in the night. Yeah. If someone's calling you and then you can maybe give yourself one time in the night. Okay. Before you go to bed.
Yeah. To make sure.
So if you go to bed at 10 o'clock, maybe at 8 o'clock or 8:30, check your phone in case there's been some text message or phone call or whatever.
Yeah. That needs immediate attention.
But learn and experience again what it is to not have a phone in hand's reach, to not sit on the couch and watch a show with the phone with you, and to not scroll while you're watching something or talking to someone or doing something. And it will be difficult for a lot of us because it's just a default.
And that includes texting.
Yes.
I mean, because
texting is the same way.
It's also, texting is great, and it's how I stay in touch with a lot of people.
Right.
However, if I am having, and this is what we try to explain to our daughter, and then we don't always do it. If I'm having an ongoing text conversation with someone, but it's family time and we're hanging out and I'm going in to check that and respond, I am pulling myself out of what's most important to me, which is our valued time as a family.
Your phone is a small portal into a different world.
It is.
And it takes you out of the present. Even when it's a fun text exchange, I'm not saying any of those things are bad. I have great text circles with people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they're funny, and I stay connected with my family that way, and on and on and on. But there's something about the phone and the device specifically that are a challenge. Yeah. And then the apps that go with it are a real challenge.
I thought it was really interesting the other day. luckily our daughter doesn't listen to this. Anyway, she and it's not her fault. It's trying to guide a younger generation through
Right.
things that adults struggle with, which is technology. And we've chosen to not let her have a phone yet. And this is a topic of upset each day.
Yeah.
And she uses mine to text so we can keep an eye on things. We trust her. It's really just the attention being pulled away. It's really tough for adults, much less kids. But she said, so I get all of her texts on my phone.
Right.
So in order to clear them, a lot of times I'll just not necessarily read them, but hit pop. And she goes, Mom, don't do that. And I said, why? She goes, because then it's leaving them on read is what they call it.
Oh.
And so she goes, they can tell that I read the message and didn't respond. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. So the kids are a lot of times being taught that if they don't respond immediately to the conversation, that they don't care about what's happening. And we only let her check that like 2 times at night, that kind of a thing. And so I said, well, babe, I'm sorry. Your friends will have to know that we're not going to respond immediately. But adults do that too. We get a text, we think, oh, I got to take care of that immediately.
And this is not what we're talking about, but it's also part of it because of this conversation, even on the texting thing. So she spent the whole entire day at the theme park, amusement park with these kids.
Yes.
Then she got in the car and she immediately wanted to start texting them for closure of the day and sending photos.
Which I sort of understood. Send the pictures.
But it has the exact opposite effect of what it's supposed to. You think in some ways we're staying closer in contact. What it really does is produce a certain level of isolation and a certain level of inability to exist in a healthy way without being connected to other people.
Yeah.
And to say, if I don't tell somebody that this happened, did it really happen?
Yeah, exactly.
If I didn't tell somebody about the sunrise or the sunset, did it really happen?
Sure.
Did it really mean anything?
Well,
and so we can't be in a healthy relationship with ourselves with a contentment unless it is somehow negotiating
and
through this
affirmed
portal.
by other people.
Now,
yeah.
when you're with those people, you may not be able to have that same relationship, but you can have it electronically. And so it's actually creating
it's
a
surrogate.
disconnect.
It's a surrogate,
and because it's becoming strictly through just electronics, it's actually creating more isolation. It's creating more separation. It's creating more distance and more oppression and depression in the process.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
And do you remember when you were a teenager? For me, I mean, I did not have a perfect family. We had challenges like anyone else, but from the pressures, especially of like middle school and high school, home was a refuge from that.
Right.
And even just the, wanting to be cool or funny or all those things. And so when kids and adults, when we are wanting to stay in contact with people constantly, we're never having that break where we let down and are just ourselves.
Well,
we never get that break.
This is the thing too, I think. And I think all of us, if we're being honest with ourselves or aware, will acknowledge that if you spend an hour on the phone, which is not unusual, 30 minutes, an hour, checking things, social media, texting, whatever, you do
Amazon,
not feel
True Confessional.
You do not feel refreshed or revived or hopeful when you're
don't.
done. You feel wasted.
Even
you
after
feel
texting. Yeah.
lethargic. You feel like I
know.
lost that time.
Isn't that interesting?
It's you feel disgruntled is not the right word.
Yeah.
But it's
Watching TV has the same effect on me,
Yeah,
which is interesting. And I
long-term.
like to watch TV, but we're pretty. We don't have time to watch a ton of it. But yeah, there's something about the electronic take that it has that doesn't leave you feeling replenished.
right.
For instance, if you read a book, I know we're sounding like anti-tech right now, and we're not. We use it all day long at work, which is part of why I don't want to do it in the evening.
Sure.
But there's something about reading or being outside or just chilling with friends or having a conversation that rejuvenates you.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, especially on a small screen, the other is a take,
Well, and I have found that the more time I spend on my phone, which is like a sugar high, the less I have this ability to read or the want to read or the patience to read.
It is like eating sugar versus having fruit.
Yeah, so the phone is just a sugar contact high just all the time. And so when I sit down to read from that, after that, I feel agitated and I feel like I don't have the patience to sit and think about what I'm reading and to take that time to do that. I don't have that.
That's
I just
so
want more
interesting.
sugar, essentially.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like, I hope it's as soon as 10 years from now, like for instance, when people all smoked in the 50s and 60s, and it was even in advertising like,
Sure.
relax, have a cigarette, and you have
Does
this
that
pretty.
work? I'd take that back.
I'd have this pretty housewife, with this cigarette, mopping or whatever they did in high heels and smoking.
With pearls, yeah.
And then 20 years later, this is going to kill you.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about where we are with phones and technology. Yeah. I hope it's that soon that there's societal and scientific pushback that people say this is killing people.
Well, as we said, a couple of episodes in the episode, I think it's titled "Don't Despair," but we look at this epidemic of despair and this epidemic of loneliness,
right?
Most of which has a two-decade growth pattern. So where it's just gone up this
terrible hill.
Where it's just, if you look at the graph chart, it just goes straight up, and that really hits dramatically starting about 2 decades ago. Wow. And it goes across economics, and it goes across developing countries and developed countries, and it goes across countries of different religions, and on and on. And I think, what's a key factor there? What's a common denominator there? Yeah. And it is this advancement of technology and this advancement of
our reliance on it.
And our reliance on it. And it's having this negative impact. And the constant bombardment of news and crisis and fires and demand that you step up and do something.
And personal stories.
You get outraged and you do this and this and this. Is having a significant impact on us. Yeah. And as we started by saying, it's not as bad as it seems. There are so many good things happening right now in your personal life, and then your community and in your city, and I feel that when we accidentally ran it. We were supposed to have a coffee meeting, you and I, yesterday, and when we got to the coffee shop, we ran into somebody we knew, and they said, "Do you have a free minute?" And not to talk about anything specific, but just to hang out. We said, "Sure." And so we're talking to them, and then 2 or 3 other people walked up, and I just thought the amount of life that is in this moment, and it was so life-giving. Yeah. And just in that, I felt hopeful because we were talking to other people and we were engaging, and they were enjoying it, and I could tell this really meant something to them to have this moment. And I thought, oh gosh, that's all fantastic. Yeah. And so it's not as bad as it seems. There's a lot of good that's happening right now. There's a lot of hope. I do think that we are getting fatigued with extremism and the extremism that's being demanded of us, like we talked about, I think, last time on the show. So I think that's all critical. And the further we get away from technology, for whatever reason, it seems easier to recognize the good that's actually happening and the joy that's actually happening. And there is something about getting outside, being a part of that. Now that the seasons are changing, and embracing that and recognizing the good that we see around us. Yeah. So anyway, I know it's difficult for a lot of us. I know the addiction and the comfort we have with phones, but try it. Just try it for 5 days.
Okay, so here's an idea.
And to do it, I mean, when you have a phone, you can have apps and all that kind of stuff. So either put those apps in a separate folder or just delete the apps. Because if you want to, you can download the app again. It'll pick back up where you left off. Yeah. You're not losing anything when you sign back in on the app. So it's not like that. But if it's there, it's too easy to click it. It's a natural habit that we're in right now. If it's gone off your phone, you'll be surprised at how you can just move on. And the same goes for games, and the same goes for anything that keeps you on the device.
Yeah, that's right. And for me, a lot of times it's Amazon, which seems stupid.
Oh, man.
But it'll be, and it's not even any big deal. Like a lot of times I'm shopping for deodorant or something. I mean, but there's something about it.
Yeah.
Or something that someone else in the family needs, like deodorant. No, I'm kidding, or whatever. But there's something about it, the same thing. But okay, so if someone were going to say, okay, I'm not happy about it, but after I get through graduation season this weekend, I'm going to do this 5-day challenge. And that would actually be a great time to do it. Start on Memorial Day on a Monday and try to make it through Friday. But would it be a good idea if they mention that to a friend, a spouse or a friend, to say, hey, do you want to try this with me?
I was thinking about that.
For some accountability?
I don't think you need to be the person
who's like annoying about it.
Who goes on social media and says, hey, I'm taking a break from social media for 5 days. I just need to get away from you guys for a little bit.
I hate those posts. I'm like, just do it. Shut it, man.
So I would say, on the social media accounts, it's not necessary. No one's clinging to you.
Actual, like, in-person
But I would say
friend.
In terms of text messaging, like when you get home at night and you're going to take a break from your phone, I don't know that you know those relationships better than we do, but I would say that no, it's not necessary to tell people that when you if you choose to check in once a night and you respond to something, I don't think you have to be on call all the time.
No, for everyone.
And there's a new thing that we're into now where we feel like if we don't respond right away, somehow people
We're
are
going to leave
hanging.
them on read. That's what I'm saying.
And a lot of times people need us to not respond right away. There are plenty of good things that will happen. They'll figure out something for themselves.
A lot of times
somebody
people-
else will step
someone else
up.
will help.
There's all kinds of good things that can happen if we're not immediately responsive to something like that.
Well, what I meant was if someone was going to, yes, I hear what you're saying.
But so
to
to
say
answer
to
your
your friend
question,
or your spouse, hey, do you want to try this with me?
yes, I think doing
post
that
it.
with someone
Is good.
oh my
It's like
gosh.
going on a diet. Like, hey,
Would
do you want to?
would you take
off
this
sugar
challenge
with
with me for 5 days or for 7 days or 2 weeks or whatever it is? I need help with this. Can we hold each other accountable? Let's both do this. For 5 days, let's delete our social accounts.
Yeah.
For 5 days, let's agree that when we get home from work, we're going to put our phones away and just give ourselves one chance to check it,
For safety.
sometime at night. Yeah.
I like
and I think the other part of that is turning the ringer or the tones off of your phone.
Oh,
You
my
don't
gosh, yeah.
need to be dinged every time someone thinks of you and texts something or
No.
calls or whatever.
Right.
So I think that's really helpful. And then if you feel like it's necessary, that I don't think you have to apologize for this. You can, in your response to a text message, say, hey, sorry for the delay. I'm trying to get better about putting the phone away at night, and I'm not going to be as responsive in the evenings
I
as I
have
used to
actually
be.
thought about doing this, and I might do it. I have some friends that I text, and actually they're really cool. They know
Yeah.
I might not get back for a few days, but I've actually thought about texting everyone in my family and all my friends and saying, I'm trying to get better about this.
Yes.
And so I'm going to be checking my phone once a day
Yeah.
because I have been guilty of, I like to get things off my
Well, I
list,
think
take
your-
care of it. But
I think your phone is set up this way, and mine is too. On occasion, I know it works for iPhones, that you can put it on Do Not Disturb,
Oh,
and
you
it
just
will
showed me how to do
notify the
that.
people.
But then it says notify anyway.
Well, that's only for people who are in your list of
am I in your list?
contacts, of emergency contacts.
Or maybe in your list.
I'll let you know. So, but what it says is that comes up. So I'll text somebody and I'll get a notification from them that this person is on a Do Not Disturb mode, and it just lets me know, oh, they're already doing something. They're in a meeting, they're at a graduation, they're with their family, they're doing whatever they're
that's
doing,
cool.
and they're not going to respond to me right
So you
away.
could do that for the evening.
You could do that for
I
the
like
evening.
that. Yeah. To have your off hours.
And I think with the iPhone, you can actually set that up to be reoccurring.
Oh,
so
that'd
you
be
could just
cool.
say
From 6 to-
from 5 o'clock in the PM to 5 o'clock in the AM, I'm on Do Not Disturb.
I like
and then if
that.
it's a family emergency, it will know you
Yes.
put them in your
emergency, yeah.
emergencies, and then
Would you
that
help me
would
do,
allow
will
them
you
to
help me
break
do
through.
that after this?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know you're tech challenged, so it's okay.
I am, and I don't care.
So friends,
Yes.
remember this. It is not as bad as it seems. There is a lot to be hopeful for. Seasons do change. And taking decisive steps to acknowledge the good that's happening will continue to create awareness and consciousness for you on that. That's really a positive thing. And then I think you will feel that and sense that more if you choose to take a break from your phone. And a big part of that is the social media stuff.
Yeah.
Take that challenge. Find somebody else. Ask them if they'll be willing to do this with you. Get off social media for 5 days at least. And then just feel what that feels like.
Just
feel what it is to not have that so persistently.
And I would like to up the challenge with one detail.
Oh boy.
Try to make it through a weekend.
Yes.
Because we
That's
rely
critical.
on that a lot for entertainment or in moments of boredom. But if
Yeah.
you can make it through a weekend,
Just because you're standing in line at the grocery store doesn't mean you have to have something in your hand to
you
do.
could talk to someone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it is interesting what you'll go to, and it's so funny with Evangeline, our daughter, because she doesn't have a phone, and then she'll ask to use our phones, and we will have kind of a limited number of times that she can do that in a day, so she knows. That's part of it too. Is having some rules means we don't have to negotiate every single
Right.
time.
So
It's
do it
just
for
these are the
yourself.
rules.
Yeah.
You got 4 times a day, and it's for this period of time, and then
Yeah.
once that's used up, it's used up.
We should do it for ourselves.
So, but every time we say, no, I'm sorry, we're not going to do the phone right now, whatever, obviously there's a huff and a puff. And then she will literally go on to do something constructive.
Yes, she does.
She'll
go.
stomp upstairs, and then the next thing I'll know, I'm hearing the guitar play
Yeah, exactly.
or the piano,
Or she's
or
writing
she's
a song.
writing something. And she has found her way into something else that's life-giving
And same for
instead of
us.
life-sucking. And it's a great thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, friends. So do that. Let us know if you have something you want to talk about or you want us to do a Dream Ears with your group. Please make sure you go to the other podcast, the Got a Minute podcast. So if you're searching for that in your podcast, it's just Got a Minute Mini Podcast. I think there's a hyphen between mini and podcast.
Nice.
First 4 episodes are up, and it's about 15 minutes long. And then, by all means, please take this podcast, share it with someone. If you want to do that 5-day challenge or 7-day challenge or 10-day challenge with someone, you can send this podcast to them so they get the idea, and then we'll just go on from there.
I like it. And also send us a message. Did you do the 5, 7, or 10? And how did it go? We'd love to hear.
All right, friends. Until then, peace out, and thanks for being a part of this conversation.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. We'd love it if you would like and subscribe to the podcast and then share it with the people you know. We want to include as many people as possible in the conversation. Also, be sure to check out our Got a Minute Mini podcast, which pairs funny stories with original music all in about 15 minutes. Thanks! This has been a production of Pioneer Dream.